The rain started before the sun went down, not the gentle kind. 89. Not the calming kind people play to fall asleep. This rain was heavy, constant, like something large breathing just outside the world. I remember checking the time on my phone when it began, 9:17 p.m., because that was the moment everything still felt normal. I was sitting alone in my apartment, lights dim, the window cracked open just enough to let the smell of wet asphalt drift inside. The city usually quieted after 10, but that night felt different, too quiet, as if the rain had pushed every other sound away. Thunder rolled somewhere far off, low and tired. I didn't know yet that by morning, sleep would be impossible. I should explain something first. I've always been someone who notices patterns, small things, changes people ignore. It's not paranoia, it's awareness, the kind you develop after years of working night shifts, walking empty streets, seeing what most people sleep through. That night, I noticed the first wrong thing when my phone buzzed. A notification. No name, no number, just a message preview glowing on my lock screen. You shouldn't be awake. The rain tapped harder against the window. I stared at the screen, waiting for fear to hit, but it didn't. Not yet. My first thought was that it was spam, some bot, some prank. Still, I didn't open it. Another buzz followed almost immediately. Turn off the light. I laughed. Actually laughed. A short, dry sound that disappeared into the rain. My apartment was on the 4th floor. No one could see inside unless they were across the street, and even then, the rain blurred everything into smears of color and shadow. I turned my phone face down on the table. That's when the hallway light flickered. Once, twice, then steadied. My smile faded. The building I lived in was old, the kind with pipes that knocked at night and floors that sighed when you walked across them. Electrical issues weren't uncommon. Still, I stood up and turned off the lamp beside the couch. Not because of the message, because suddenly the room felt watched. The rain intensified, drumming against the windows like fingers learning a rhythm. I went to the kitchen, poured a glass of water, and tried to ground myself. The glass shook slightly in my hand, not from fear, I told myself, but from too much caffeine earlier. Then I heard it, a sound cutting cleanly through the rain. 3 slow knocks, from inside the apartment, not the door, the wall, directly behind me. I froze. The knock wasn't loud. That's what made it worse. It was careful, intentional, like whoever, or whatever, made it knew exactly how much pressure to use. I didn't turn around right away. I listened. The rain filled the silence, thick and endless. My heartbeat sounded too loud in my ears, a steady drum matching the storm outside. Another knock came, this time closer, from the wall beside the hallway. I backed away, glass of water forgotten as it shattered against the floor. The sound echoed, sharp and sudden, but still, no footsteps from neighbors, no voices, no reaction at all. It felt like the building was holding its breath. I grabbed my phone. No signal, no Wi-Fi, just one new notification. We hear you moving. That's when fear finally arrived. Not a scream, not panic, a cold understanding sliding down my spine. Someone, or something, was inside the walls. I ran to the front door and twisted the lock. It turned easily, too easily, like it hadn't been secured at all. I pulled the door open, expecting the hallway light, the stained carpet, the familiar emergency exit sign. Instead, the hallway was dark, not dim, gone. The rain was louder now, even though I was indoors, as if the storm had followed me inside the building. The air smelled wrong, damp, metallic, old. Then the knocking started again. Not from the walls, from behind me. Inside my apartment. I slammed the door shut and locked it, heart hammering so hard I thought it might tear free. The knocking continued, slow and rhythmic, moving from room to room. Bedroom, bathroom, closet, always just out of sight. I backed into the living room, eyes scanning shadows that felt too deep to belong to a small apartment. The rain streaked down the windows like dark veins. My phone vibrated. "You left the light on." I looked. The lamp was glowing again. I swear to you, I hadn't touched it. The bulb flickered, casting long, warped shadows that stretched across the walls. One of them didn't move when the light flickered. It stayed still, watching. I whispered, "Who are you?" The words felt stupid the moment they left my mouth. The shadow leaned closer. My phone buzzed one last time. "We're the reason people disappear during storms." The rain stopped, all at once. Silence crashed down so hard my ears rang. And then, the knocking came from inside my chest. I don't remember how I got out. I don't remember unlocking the door or running down the stairs. I only remember the rain starting again as soon as I hit the street, soaking me to the bone like the storm itself was trying to erase what I'd seen. By morning, my apartment was empty. No damage, no broken glass, no sign of anyone else. Except for one thing. On the inside of my bedroom wall, written in deep, jagged scratches, "Next time, don't answer." The rain has been falling every night since, and I haven't slept at all. Because sometimes, when the storm gets quiet, I hear knocking again. From inside the walls, from inside me. The rain didn't sound natural that night. It wasn't falling. It was whispering. I noticed it at 11:42 p.m., lying flat on my back, staring at the ceiling fan as it creaked in slow, tired circles. Every drop that hit the tin shade outside my bedroom window carried a rhythm, like a sentence spoken too softly to understand. I live alone in a rented house on the edge of town. Cheap rent, too quiet, the kind of place landlords don't ask questions about, and tenants don't stay long. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not because of fear, because of the feeling that something was waiting for me to close my eyes. I rolled onto my side and checked my phone. No notifications, no missed calls, just the sound of rain growing heavier, faster, like it was getting impatient. That's when I heard my name, clear, calm, from outside the window. Abhishek. My entire body locked up. No one uses my name like that. Not softly, not slowly, not at midnight in the rain. I told myself it was my imagination. Rain does that, turns noise into voices, shadows into shapes. I pulled the blanket up to my chin and shut my eyes tight. Then the voice came again. Closer. Open the window. My heart started pounding so hard it felt bruised. The window was already closed, locked with a rusted latch I barely trusted. The curtains moved slightly, though there was no breeze inside the room. I sat up. "Who's there?" I asked, hating how small my voice sounded. Silence. The rain stopped. That was worse, because the moment the rain died, I heard something else. Breathing. Right outside the glass, slow, wet, patient. I forced myself out of bed, each step toward the window heavier than the last. My reflection stared back at me in the dark glass, eyes wide, face pale. Then, my reflection blinked. I hadn't. The curtain slid aside on its own. And I saw him, a man standing in the rainless darkness, skin stretched too tight over his face, smile carved deep like it had been practiced. His clothes clung to him as if he'd been standing in a storm for hours, yet not a single drop fell. He raised a hand, and knocked on the glass. I stumbled back, crashing into the bed. My phone buzzed, a text message from an unknown number. "You hear the rain too, don't you?" I typed with shaking fingers. "Who are you?" The reply came instantly. "I'm the one who waits when the rain stops." The knock came again, harder this time. The glass trembled, but didn't break. "Go away," I shouted. The man tilted his head, confused, hurt. Then his smile widened. "You invited me." The lights flickered. Once, twice, then everything went dark. Except the window. Moonlight spilled in, revealing something I hadn't noticed before. The ground outside wasn't soil. It was mud mixed with footprints. Hundreds of them, all leading to my window. All barefoot, all stopping right where he stood. My phone vibrated again. "Do you know how many people listen to the rain?" Another message followed. "Do you know how few survive it?" The window latch snapped open with a sharp, metallic crack. The glass slid upward. Cold air rushed in, carrying the smell of wet earth and decay. The man leaned forward, his face now inches from mine. His eyes were empty, not dark, hollow. "It's your turn to listen," he whispered. I screamed. The rain exploded back into existence, deafening, violent, as if the sky itself had split open. The man vanished, gone like he'd never been there.
The window slammed shut on its own. The lights flickered back on. I collapsed onto the floor, gasping, shaking, soaked in sweat. Morning came without warning. Sunlight, birds, normal sounds. I convinced myself it had been a nightmare, until I checked my phone. One final message waited for me, sent at 11:43 p.m. "Tonight, we knock from inside." I moved out that same day. New city, new room, new locks. But the rain followed me. And sometimes, when it suddenly stops, I hear breathing behind me, and I know he's still waiting.